Hello Internet, and welcome to Pete's Media Reviews, and welcome to my very first review. Hey! So, as you can probably see, I'm shrunk down in one of the corners, and I've got a picture of or something to do with the movie that I'm actually going to be talking about, and I'm talking about Vanishing on 7th Street. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through each attribute that I'll score it on, then I'll give it an overall score at the end, and yeah, hopefully we can build up a catalogue of these and a little bit of a library. So Vanishing on 7th Street then is Hayden Christensen, Thandie Newton, John Leguizamo. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the names here. But Hayden Christensen, yeah, we all know who he is because he was Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars. We know that. Right, so I'm going to take this movie. Now, I knew when I picked this movie up, I knew it wasn't going to be a big production, blockbuster movie or anything like that. But I was intrigued by the blurb on the back. That's kind of what made me pick it up. So the storyline, as it says on the back, and let me just read the storyline to you a moment. When a massive power outage plunges the city of Detroit into total darkness, a disparate group of individuals find themselves alone. The entire city's population has vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but lengthening shadows. Soon the daylight begins to disappear completely, and as the survivors gather in an abandoned tavern, they realise the darkness is out to get them. But as their light fades, how long can they survive before the shadows devour them? Creepy enough and compelling enough to make me pick it up and buy it. And to think to myself, yeah, I'll give it a go. I gave it a go. So the first item on the agenda is storyline. So there's not much to it, as you could hear, really. People disappear in the dark, but it was compelling enough for me to keep watching. It's got the annoying kid who doesn't do what he's told. And there's spoilers, of course. It's a review, so of course there's going to be spoilers in this. If you don't want spoilers, just skip to the end result when I give my overall score. So that's best thing to do there. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description below as to where that is. Unless I decide to put the score in the title. I may do. I'll put the score in the title. So, yeah, it's the annoying kid who gets Luke, who's played by Hayden Christensen, killed. He gets him killed because he's an annoying kid, and he pulls the, I've got to go find my mother, blah, blah, blah. Then, there's also, it's got the token creepy kid in it in the form of a little girl. And whilst a lot of horror movies make use of that kind of creepiness, this movie failed to deliver it here. I mean, she was totally useless, not needed whatsoever, made no sense at all. In fact, she added nothing to the story at all, whatsoever. I could maybe have forgiven all that if it had a decent ending. Instead, I was left scratching my head, I've got to be honest. And there was... there was a bit where you thought that the kid Jake, who's the black boy in the tavern, who's lost his mother, there was a point where you thought he had disappeared in the dark, and then he came back miraculously. It made no sense at all. And then, the guy lying on the pool table in the tavern, he vanished instead. It just made no sense at all. So for storyline, I gave it a 3 out of 10, and I think I was being generous with that. So yeah, it was good, enough to make me think, yeah, it's okay. If it had had an okay ending, I would have been like, yeah, it was not bad. That was alright, that movie. Yeah, seen better, seen worse. But as it was, I was left feeling greatly robbed of my 87 minutes, which I can never get back. So might as well make a video about it. Anyway, on to the acting now. It was okay, if a little hammy at times overall. Hayden Christensen did a decent job. He wasn't very hammy, not really. The others were quite hammy. There wasn't that many actors in it, to be honest, which betrayed the overall production value of the movie, because there wasn't that many people in it. But he did a decent job, not award-winning, but it was a decent enough effort, But it was the only one which was so, I'm sad to say. The others were all meh at best, which pulled the overall score for acting down. Now, I scored acting as 3 out of 10. So a 3 out of 10 again for acting. Wasn't that great. Overall, it was poor. Like I say, Hayden did an okay job with, you know, what he had there, but overall it was poor. Okay, moving on to production then. Now, I quite like the setting. Obviously it wasn't big budget, but they did a good job of making it seem bigger than it actually was. And they used that freeway shot, which has been used multiple times before by many series of movies, and stuff like The Walking Dead and things like that, etc. I enjoyed the lighting of it, which was very monochromatic and it worked well with the dark theme. I felt so. I felt it worked well. Personally, I feel it could have used a few more sets. That could have upped the production value, experience, perception. The production value perception. If they just had a couple more sets, I think. But I suppose there's only so much you could do with the storyline being as limited as it was. Although weak, it was fairly compelling, as I've said, but it was short-lived for seeking any conclusions. So, production, for what they had, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, so production 5. Now, moving on to my personal enjoyment. My personal enjoyment of the movie. Remember, this is based out of 10 as well. They're all based out of 10, apart from the overall score, which is out of 50. If it hadn't been for the ending, I would have been left feeling like the movie wasn't a total waste of time, but as it was, I was left feeling like I'd lost 87 minutes of my life, which I just simply cannot get back. Let me clarify. I thought it was okay-ish. You know, I've seen worse, but nah, I didn't enjoy it overall. And 99.999% of that is down to the ending. It was a pointless ending, you know, it's just ridiculous the way everyone just got sapped up by the shadows, apart from the two kids at the end, and they rode off down the highway on a sheriff's horse. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So a 3 out of 10, and that's being mega generous. So replayability, that's a no, never, no way. 1. I would replay it if someone begged me, it was their dying wish, please watch this movie with me or something like that. Yes, I'd watch it then, but only then. So overall score then, let me just see. So storyline, we got a 3, acting 3, production 5, personal enjoyment 3, and replayability 1. That gives it an overall score for me on my scoring system of 15 out of 50. Vanishing on 7th Street. I don't recommend you run out and watch this movie, but if you want to, don't blame me. That's it for me, and that's been my first review. I don't know how the format will, you know, evolve from this point forwards, whether it stays like this, whether I do all green screen. I can't imagine it'll be just me talking, filling the screen up. I don't want to fill the screen on these. I just want to give my 2 pence worth of knowledge and experience of what I've gone through for that. Sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it'll be bad. But thank you ever so much for watching. Hit that bell button if you want to see more, and please subscribe. That will help me build this channel up into something which I can make it into something good, and perhaps I can get to a stage where you can recommend movies to me, and I will go and watch them and review them with my educated mind. Yes, I'm calling it an educated mind, but there you go. Bye for now. Be well.